happening, viewer? Good to see somebody in here today. Just getting off work. Heading home as usual. I hope maybe some people will stick around for the ride today. I haven't had much luck with that. I get like, 10 or 12 viewers sometimes, and then they disappear. And usually by the time I get home, I got 3 or 4 people that are still watching, which is pretty good, I guess. It's nice to see that, some people have a short attention span. They can't handle long conversations. Of course, then again, I just babble on about absolutely nothing most of the time. Hello, viewer. Good to see you. Oh, well, you're gone too. Well, cool. I guess we'll see you another time. Anyway. Man, what a long day. Jeez. It's been cold like most of the day, too. Well, it's been chilly. It's rainy all day. The weather sucks, Of course, hopefully it'll be nice this weekend and I can get out and do some stuff. I gotta mow the yard. I don't know, is it logical to mow the yard when the grass hasn't grown big enough to get seeds? Somebody said I need to seed the yard. I don't see that happening. Grass has gotten pretty tall right now. But I guess we'll see. Probably gonna Saturday morning I'll get up and take my lawnmower out and maybe check and see if everything's good. Sharpen the blade. I'll have to remember to bring my grinder home with me so I can sharpen the blade. I had it sharpened last year, but I did use it all season, so probably going to be time to sharpen the blade again and stuff like that. So what's happening, viewer? How are you today? Only one. Nope, you're gone already. Well, isn't that special? I swear I ought to just sit here and get views sometimes instead of saying anything. People don't seem to like what I'm talking about. Of course, they're too afraid to suggest anything or make any comments to things to talk about while I'm driving. I do read the comments every once in a while. I look down and somebody might comment every now and then, but very rarely does anybody comment while I'm talking. I don't even get any thumbs up. I'm kind of sad about that, but I understand. I like to just watch people talk too sometimes. So when I'm surfing the YouTube, I might stop for a few minutes and see what's going on with the world with people. Everybody's got their own thing going on. So sometimes I stop to see, what people are talking about. And sometimes it interests me and sometimes it doesn't. And then other times it's just some Indian chick, with the thing on her head right here, laying around on a bed or something. And they got like millions of views. I don't know how they do it. I guess that's just like the culture or something. They don't have to say a whole lot to get their point across. I don't know. Anyway, I decided to go home a different way today. Wow, under clover. And 2 cops got that van pulled over. But anyway, I'm going home a different way today. It's a little shorter. I had a pretty short night at home yesterday. I had to go to a place called Costco yesterday, pick up some groceries and stuff, and it's actually not too bad when you go during the week. It's not too crowded. It's really nice to be able to not be tripping over other people trying to go grocery shopping or whatever. So I got home like at about 5 yesterday, and my significant other doesn't get off until like 6. So I had to wait for a while. And we got to Costco probably around 20 minutes after. They closed at 7 o'clock, so we had to do our shopping pretty quick, but we didn't really have a whole lot to get. So everything we did get, we got it and took off, and all was good. But so I didn't really get to do a lot of my relaxing stuff that I usually do when I get home. You know, after working a 10-hour day, you need that time to kind of get back to yourself anyway. So I'll go home, I'll watch a little TV and eat dinner, and maybe I'll get on the virtual reality tonight. I don't know. It's not really been on my radar this week much anyway. I did get on for a few minutes the other night, but most of the people I know that I hang out with on the VR, they're on Thursday and Friday is the biggest day for them. So maybe I'll go visit some of them tonight. I got people from all over the place. Most of them are from, well, I got one from Mississippi, and then there's one that is from like New Jersey area, and there's a couple on there from like Indiana and Ohio and stuff. It's just a little crowd of us. We get together and shoot the shit, and go to different places and play games and stuff like that. So that might be in the plans this evening. I'm not really sure. Anyway, so I'm headed east on Interstate 70. Instead of going I usually go 364, which is called Page Extension. It takes me about 10 more minutes than this way does, but I like to go this way every now and then. And I thought if I got home early enough today that, you know, I could relax a little bit and stuff, and I won't have to go anywhere, do anything. I can just enjoy my evening at home. Might watch some TV. Watch tonight. I was talking about TV earlier today. I've got an MP3 player at work that I use to listen to music, and there was a song that came on that's called Welcome Back. And Welcome Back was a song that was done in the 70s, well actually late 60s, and it was for a TV show called Welcome Back Kotter. And I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with Welcome Back Kotter, but it's got John Travolta was in it when he was real young. There was a guy on there, and I can't remember his real name, but his character name was Shaq, and he laughs really funny, and he goes, ooh, 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 you know, when a teacher asks questions in the classroom. So I've been working with this young girl. She's from Louisville, Kentucky, and so we have a facility in Louisville that is like one of our sister shops. So she's been helping out this week, and it really trips me out when I talk to these young kids, 7, you know, about these old TV shows and old songs on the radio, and I'll sneak up on her and she'll be listening to something. I'll be like, you know who that is? She's like, no, I don't. But so it really trips me out when I'm you know, trying to go into the history of some of the TV shows and songs and bands and things like that. And I'm sure that since she's been working with me, she's probably learned quite a bit. It's all useless information. It's information she'll never use, but it's, you know, interesting. It keeps occupied anyway. But she's pretty funny about it. You know, she'll look at me like I'm stupid sometimes. You know, I'll be like, yeah, that was a good TV show. So we were talking about Welcome Back Kotter, and then I mentioned a few other TV shows to her, like The Jeffersons and All in the Family, and you know, Sanford and Son. I mean, these are the TV shows I grew up watching. You know, where people weren't so sensitive to, you know, slang terms and, you know, slurs and things like that. You know, that was pretty acceptable back in the day. It's amazing how far the world's come since then. You know, now you got people using pronouns of all things. What is that all about? But, well, I know what that's all about. It's about attention, but, you know, everybody wants to be different. But anyway, so we were talking about some of these good old TV shows, and I was telling her that, back then, people didn't care about, what they watched on TV, as long as it was entertaining. And it's unfortunate that now it doesn't work that way. People are too sensitive. Anyway, like I said earlier, it was raining today. It's been raining pretty much all day. I didn't think it was going to roll in until the weekend, but there was some pretty good periods of rain where it was like really coming down. They put a new roof on our building about 6 months ago, and because it used to leak really bad, and so they put a new roof on our building, and I don't have to wade through puddles to get through the shop anymore. I would come in after it rained one weekend. I swear I spent like an hour and a half squeegeeing water up off the floor out the bay doors around my work area because it was flooded. But not anymore. We got the new roof, but it's a tin roof, so when it rains, I mean, it sounds like the world's on fire or something. I don't know. It's really, but it's soothing, I guess it wouldn't help if I was like tired or something, make me even more tired. I got a new Mexican place over here. But anyway, so what's going on with you guys? Anybody got anything to say today? I mean, just like type something. I don't care. I'd really like to get some like interaction with you guys. It would make me feel a lot better if people were interested in what I had to say. So just type anything. I don't care. We'll talk about whatever you want to talk about, except for politics and religion. Those are things that I don't talk about. Politics and religion have destroyed more families and broken more homes and killed more friendships and relationships than anything in history. Yep, sure have. And the bad part about it is people just, they don't realize that that's what it is, that it's relationships with people. They talk about politics and religion and, they don't always agree, which is okay. But some people can't not agree with each other without, not being friends or something anymore. It's like they're disposable now. People are more disposable than they used to be. I talked about that a little bit the other day, about it's amazing to me that people, your friendships and your relationships with people are only a button push away now. And it's really crazy because people should value those things. They should value the friendships and relationships that they build. Let's see, YouTube. I guess it's telling me that I'm live just now. Anyway, it's amazing that people don't take value in friendships and things like they used to. You build a relationship with somebody, or you build a friendship, and you spend all that time and energy developing a likeness or a dislike for different things, and you can agree and not agree, but if you don't agree, then just agree not to agree and just go on with life. You don't have to exit those people from your life. Well, let me take that back for a minute. Okay, so if you're being disrespected, that's one thing. So if you're having an argument with somebody or a disagreement, and they want to disrespect you, and they know better, then yeah. But don't push the button and just end the friendship. Put them like on the back shelf or something, until they are able to come out of that shell and say, okay, yeah, maybe I was wrong. But people have a hard time admitting anything anymore because everybody thinks they're right. It's really crazy. Of course, I remember when I was growing up, the way you ended a friendship was just, to say, okay, look, I don't want to be your friend anymore. But, people don't even give each other the common courtesy of that anymore. That's what really sucks. You know, people don't have any respect for boundaries and things like that. Seven people. Nobody got anything to say today? Come on, somebody throw a question at me. I need some interaction. Yep. Y'all just want to stare at me driving. I'm driving home from work. I'm just about to the Missouri River Bridge. I'm taking Interstate 70 going east from O'Fallon, Missouri towards St. Louis. And I cross the river twice a day. Once going there to work and then once coming home. You guys are really going to trip out one day if I'm on my motorcycle and doing a live video and I won't be able to talk to you. You'll just have to watch me drive my motorcycle. It's really sad. Best friend supports one candidate who I don't. One friend was a psycho during COVID. Yep. Politics, religion, and that COVID thing, man, that really destroyed a lot of relationships. People had been friends forever, you know. It's really sad, you know, because everybody has their own way of looking at things, and we don't always agree, and that's okay to disagree, you know. But you can't hold that against people. You know, you can't, especially the relationships that you've made with people. You know, you can't decide, you know, that they're a different person just because that, you know, you don't believe the same way they do. You know, it's when you grow up, you know, knowing somebody like, I've known a lot of people for a lot of years, you know, even since like elementary school, and we've always been able to put our differences aside, you know, in music or automobile. You know, there's this big thing about, you know, Chevy versus Ford or foreign versus domestic. You know what I mean? Everybody's got their own ideals and their own conclusions that they come to. And you know what? So what? If somebody doesn't like your candidate, that's okay. They don't have to. You have the ability to like them, and they don't, and that's just fine. That's what God gives us free will for. You know, having the ability to choose. You know, and we don't have to share that stuff. That's the biggest thing. Is, you know, if you think it's going to cause a problem with somebody, you know, I'm not saying lie to them about it, but you don't have to share those opinions with them if you know it might damage the relationship. You know, I was I got myself in trouble quite a bit, you know, during the whole COVID thing, because there were a lot of things that didn't add up, and I was telling, you know, people, look, you know, what's this all about? And I was giving my opinion, but what, you know, and people took offense to it, you know, and without really realizing that, you know, I may have been pushing some buttons. But, you know, when that happens, you can still come back to that. You should still be able to come back to that person and you know, be involved in their life and, you know, be a part of their life and, you know, be able to continue on. You know, one person wants to wear a mask, one doesn't. Big deal, you know. If it makes you uncomfortable, then, you know, don't do it. It's that simple. Then you got, but I don't know how much political stuff that really got into. I think that's more just a health choice than anything else. You know, personally, I didn't care to wear a mask, and I tried to avoid any situation where I had to put one on. I think I put one on maybe twice or three times the whole time that thing was going on. But I wasn't really around people either, you know. I mean, it was just me and my girl, and I ended up getting sick. You know, I spent 3 days in the hospital with pneumonia, and I survived it, you know, and I didn't wear a mask, and, you know, that was my own fault. But, you know, if in fact that's even what it was, I don't know. I got the I got the infusion, the antibody infusion, you know, so I was good. I didn't need to take the other thing, the shot or vaccine or whatever they were calling it. You know, you should have that choice, you know. It doesn't, I mean, if it makes you feel safer to do it and you want to save grandma, then, more power to you, do it. But if not, then don't do it. If you have any doubts at all in your mind, then you don't have to do something. You have a choice to either jump off a bridge or not. If you're in a situation where somebody tells you not to do something because, like you're a little kid, I'll just tell you like this. When you're a little kid, it's like one of the first things that most little kids learn is if something is hot or not. So, you tell a little kid, okay, don't touch the stove. I just got finished cooking on it. It's going to be hot. Don't touch it. What they do, they touch the stove. And what happens? They burn their fingers. And unfortunately, some of us have to learn the hard way, and, others of us, we listen. Some of us do, some of us don't. That's okay. It's all a matter of choice. God gave us free will for a reason. If everybody was exactly the same, the world would be boring. It would be a boring place to exist. It would be a boring place to be. And if everybody was like everybody else, then, what would be the use in trying to develop relationships and friendships, based on the exact same thing? You've got to have variety. You got to have differences in your life. It makes things more interesting. That's just, how I feel about it. And I'm not sure how you guys feel about it, but that's how I feel about it. It can be healthy. Difference can be healthy, but difference can also be detrimental. It depends on how you handle it. It depends on, who you're having those issues with or those differences. If it's a stranger, you might never see that person again. You can have a difference and, okay, I'm never talking to them again. And you may not. But when you've got somebody you're close to and that you're going to have to deal with or face later, you got to find a way to compromise and try to avoid those conversations and situations. One thing I found is that, especially at work, I don't really like to make, quote unquote friends at work because of, if I become a boss or something, I don't know if I will, but I mean, if I do, their attitudes are going to change because they're going to feel a little like I'm intruding on them. When I come to them and say, okay, look, we've got to do, such and such, this is how I need it done. And I'm going to ask nicely, of course, but, some people you can't ask to do things nicely, But like I'm an inspector where I check other people's work. And, I used to build vehicles for a living. Well, I didn't build the vehicle itself. I put the equipment in it that is needed by commercial companies. That's what I do. I'm a commercial upfit company. And, I noticed that when I quit working on the vehicles as a technician and I became an inspector, people's attitudes changed towards me because they knew that if they were taking shortcuts, and I was going to find it and I was going to say something to them about it, and they would have to quit what they're doing. They would have to come fix it. And I had to write them up, and I hate paperwork. That's one thing I hate. I hate paperwork, but I also hate having to go to anybody else except for the person that gave me the equipment and say, hey, look, I got an issue here. Can you come over here and talk to me about this a minute? Can you fix it or whatever? But I think, people were standoffish with me at first. I guess I don't know if they were testing my patience or if they were just, slightly intimidated because of the way I approached them, or they knew they had screwed up and did it on purpose, thinking that I wouldn't find it or I wouldn't say anything. I don't know. But the attitude towards me changed. And, over the years it's gotten better. I've been doing this job now for like 9 years. and 7.5 of it I've been an inspector. So it has gotten better, and I've found a way to approach people more about the issues that I have with some of the work that they do. But it makes it hard too when I get people in from out of town. I got people in from out of town right now. We're putting on decals on these vans, and it makes it hard, to figure out how to approach them, because they're coming in a shop to help. So their attitude's completely different. Look, I'm here to help you. Don't pick my work apart, and stuff like that. And then you go to them and you say, hey, look, I need you to, can you come over and help me a minute? And they're like, well, I'm busy. Well, yeah, I'm busy too, but I need you to take a break a second and come see what I got, And sometimes it works out, and then other times, depending on who you're dealing with, they cop an attitude because they can't, it doesn't click to them, And I wonder sometimes how these guys treat each other at their own shops, Does the inspector have as much of a hard time at their shop as I do not at my own, but, with the guys that are regulars, but, the guys that come in from out of town. Some of them don't like any authority figures, and I guess in a roundabout way, I'm kind of an authority figure, because it's up to me when somebody builds a van. It's up to me to decide whether or not that van leaves the building. And if there are mistakes in the van, then I have to have it fixed before it does, because if I don't, then the customer